Matsatsa. Can you all hear me at the back? Yes. Nice. I'm going to be covering the story of the last president of the United States, which is a seemingly controversial title for a statement in identifying what is happening in the end of the world. By show of hands, just so that I understand my audience, how many of us have been, at least been reading the spiritual prophecy for a while now? So I understand my audience so that I know where I can begin. Yeah, sure, by raise of hands so that it helps me. Okay, good. So that means there are other people who haven't been doing so. So just start from, just give the basics of what I'm going to look at. So I have a provocative title that's we are living the time of the last president of the United States. But before we go there, right, I just want to look at the methods, the principles, and the context that are employed for us to be able to make such declaratory statements in this world today. Are we together? Okay, good. So as an example, I want to ask you a question. What do you understand by this term? How do you understand this term? Present truth. We'll start with the first word here, present. When you hear the word present, what do you think? When you hear the word present, what do you think? Now. Right? Now. Then the term truth. It's a show, it's a fact. It's a fact that happened, or it's a fact that is there. Right? And for example, we say that today it's cloudy. It's present truth. It's present truth that's cloudy. So I wanna take us back a little bit towards to understanding how we understand this concept now. This concept of present truth. What do you think constitutes present truth? Right? Many people raise their hands to say that they have read the spiritual prophets or they read the spiritual prophets. So at least you must have an understanding, because everybody uses this term a lot. Okay. So when it comes to present truth, what clicks in your mind? Yes, sir.
A truth that was applicable in their time, but a lot of people, some they spoke of a truth, but now it's present for us. It's applicable right now for us in this day.
Okay. But what things constitute present truth then? What things constitute present truth?
A message that identifies the present duty to God.
The present duty to God. Okay, so as an example, right? When was this church formed? As an example, when was it denominated as a church? 1863. So in 1863 we had a message. What was the message that was unsealed in 1863? Or that was given to gospel in 1863? The health message. The health message, right? The health message. So, was the health message present truth in 1863?
Yes.
Good. That means the people of this generation, they needed to grapple with whatever this truth was identifying for them to be part of the remnant of that time period. By remnant, I mean those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. By commandments of God, it's what God is giving you at that point in time. Right? Okay, good. Then we move on. I'll give you an example. By 1900, what was she now teaching as present truth? After 1888. One example. Right? What was she now teaching as present truth? The message by Jones and Magna. Right? But she was also emphasizing something after the Blair Bill. Right? She was emphasizing country living, right? And it became present truth for that time period, right? So if you're going to be reading Great Controversy, page 594, it's a common quote. I think the brethren have already read something from it. It talks about events of the close of creation and the work of preparation. And what was happening with these messages this health message and this country living message, right? They were a work of preparation, right? And they're now past truths. Right? For example, the health message was not actually present truth because it was given in Genesis chapter 1. It was true that we were dead for ages, right? But only that was now being clarified, it was now being opened up on its significance to God's people in the time that they were living in. Right? Are we together? So the question now is that when Sister White now identifies GC 594, she talks about two things. Events to the close. Of probation. To the close of probation. Is one. And then the second thing is the work of preparation. She says that all these two things have been clearly revealed, and multitudes have no understanding of these things. But these are two things that God's people need to understand. So, question for you. When the church was instituted in 1863, right? In terms of the events at the close of probation, when you hear the events at the close of probation, what do you think in terms of the events at the close of probation? When you hear the term or the phrase events at the close of probation, what comes to mind? That's far. And just in terms of defining what the statement is saying, that there's certain things that need to happen till you get to the close of probation. For example, if you're going to Mtari, where I come from, right, you get to certain points on the journey that will tell you that I'm near Mtari. For example, if you get to Odzi, you know that I'm near Mtari. If you get to the last toll gate, you know that I'm 10 k's to Mtari. You get my point? So there are events as you near the close of probation that God is clearly revealed. And these events now, when they happen in each generation, they constitute what is termed as the present truth of that time period. In the time of Christ, what is the present truth? At the beginning of that history, because they're doing reform line, right? What is the present truth? Which reformers have you covered already? Okay, skirmish. Okay, good. So in the time of Christ, what was the first event that identified that this generation has come to? It's the end of this generation. The birth of Christ, the birth of John the Baptist. Right? John the Baptist being born, Christ being born, was identifying that the birth was an event. It happened. Right? But it was the first event that was marking that the time for this generation, for God to deal with them, has arrived. Then what is the next event that happened in that history? The baptism of Christ. Confirming that He is the Messiah. He's the one who is come to do the work that He's supposed to do. That the week of Daniel chapter 9 has come, is now present truth. The week of Daniel 9 is not present truth today. Right? But you can draw principles from it. But there is a portion in the book of Daniel that is present truth, that is specially applicable to our life. That's what she was identifying in Daniel chapter 11, verse 40-45. But we now know in this, that's why I had to deal with the method first, so that you understand how we get to the conclusion that we make. Question for you. Ellen White died in 1915, and I'm just going to put 1915 here. Has God been silent from her death? Was it the end of things? Did God cease to communicate to His people truth? It's not possible unless you don't have a Bible. That was the first argument that I gave to people when I became a Seventh-day Adventist in 2011. I told them that it's not possible that God cannot have a message for us at this time. It's not possible. Right? As long as we have the Bible, if in every generation God always opens up a truth for that generation, then in each generation God has to have a message that is specific for the people of that time. Are we together? So we're going to look at the method that helps us identify the last president of the United States. And I'm not going to dwell much on the basics, but I'm just going to look at how we use this methodology, looking at the United States as a case study, so that we move to where I want to go. Okay, but before I go there, let's go to Acts 23. Acts chapter 23. Acts 23. Acts 23. So I sent the notes to Takunzwa, right? But again, they're explanatory. So you have to look at them and done. Acts chapter 23. So this is a common text. I think it says this. And Paul earnestly beholding, Acts 23 from verse 1. Right? We're just going to look at the method for this generation. Right? And Paul earnestly beholding the council said, Men and brethren, I have lived in good conscience before God until this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by him and smite him on the mouth. Then said Paul unto him, God shall smite thee, thou wretched wolf, for sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law. And they that stood by said, Revilest thou God the high priest? And then said Paul, I wist not, brethren, that he was the high priest, for it is written, Thou shalt not speak evil of the ruler of thy people. And when Paul perceived that one part was Sadducees, another part were Pharisees, and he cried out to the council, Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, a son of a Pharisee. Of the hope of the resurrection of the dead I am called into question. Verse 7. And when he had said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisee and the Sadducee, and the multitude was divided. For the Sadducees said that there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but the Pharisees confess both. So I'm going to start here. We have three classes of people. We have Paul, the Pharisee, and the Sadducee. And the Pharisee and the Sadducee say that there is no spirit, there is no angel. Is that true? No. These guys had Old Testament scriptures. And who were the Sadducees?
The leaders.
Yeah, but were they, the ones and the other one is that they were Jews.
Okay.
The Sadducees were Jews.
Right.
But they had the Bible, and they were teachers of the Bible, but they had a problem. They could not see things that are written plain in the Bible. Then you go to the other group of people, what were they saying? For the Sadducees say, read that, then at the end of verse 8 says that, then, but the Pharisees confess both. So the Pharisee agreed that there's a spirit, there's an angel, right? And there's a resurrection. And does the Bible teach that in the Old Testament that there's a resurrection? Daniel 12 verse 2 and 3, right? For men that sleep in the sleep shall awake, some to everlasting contempt, right? Some to everlasting righteousness, right? It's there. So the verses are there. But there's a group of people that denied the existence of that. Are we together? But that places Paul and the Pharisee on the same footing. Because Paul is saying, I'm a Pharisee. But already there's a distinction between Paul and these guys. Do you see that? Let's go to Acts 24 so you see the clarification where you see the difference between these guys. Acts 24. I'll just read verse 1 and 2. Right? And then jump to verse 13 and 14. I'll start verse 12. Verse 1. And after 5 days, Ananias the high priest descended with the elders and with certain orator named Tertullus, who informed the governor against Paul. So, the Sanhedrin hired a person to have a falsified accusation against Paul. Right? Of this team that was in Acts 23, was the continuation of the story. Are we together? In verse 2, and when he was called for, Tertullus began to accuse him, saying, seeing that by thee we enjoy great quietness, and that very wroth deeds are done with this nation by providence. Right? I'm just going to jump. So what he was doing, there are two accusations against him. One was an uprising against the state, and the other one was of blasphemy. Right? Two accusations for Paul. Acts 23. Right? Acts 24, you're now in 24. So verse 11. Verse 11. Let me just go to verse 10. Verse 10. Then Paul, after that the governor beckoned unto him to speak, answered, For as much as I know that thou hast been for many years a judge unto this nation, I do more cheerfully answer for myself, because that thou mayest understand that there are yet 12 days since I am up to Jerusalem for to worship, and they neither found me in the temple disputing, neither any man, neither raising up the people, neither in the synagogues, nor in the city. Right? Why was he near in all of these places? Where they were saying he was. Because they chucked him away. Right? Okay, good. Neither can they prove the things which they now accuse me. But this I confess thee, that after that which they call heresy. Right? So, both classes, the Pharisee and the Sadducee, they were terming what Paul was identifying concerning the resurrection and other things. What? Heresy. So what does heresy mean? Because this is a term that you hear so much within the conference of the Adventist Church. What does heresy mean? Heresy.
Stuff that contradicts with what the Pharisees and Sadducees
so heresy is something that's different. It's a different way of thinking. It's something that's different from the established way of doing things. Are we together? So that's why this guy was a heretic. That means, in terms of the Pharisee confessing that they believed the Sadducees, they believed the resurrection, the spirit, in actual fact, they were different classes with Paul. Right? That means Paul was in a class of his own, and was termed as a heretic. Right? Are we together? So that means Paul had a way of reading the Bible that was not employed by these guys who were claiming to believe both these things. Right? As a quick example, right? In Acts 24 and Acts 23 is exactly the same treatment that the Savior had. Right? Remember, the Savior said that all the things that I go through, you're going to go through. That's the same thing. He went before the Sadducees and the Pharisees, and he was judged the same way that Paul was judged. Right? So we're going to look at just a glimpse in the life of the Savior. Right? So let's go to John 10:32. So you can understand that there's just a principle that I want to bring in concerning how these guys are studying the Bible. Right? John 10:32. John 10:32. Is everyone following? Have I lost anyone so far? Good. So John 10:32. Right? I'll start with verse 30. Christ says, I and my Father are one. Then the Jews took up stones against to stone him. So why did the Jews want to stone Christ?
God.
But why? But remember, they had scriptures.
Okay.
Are we together?
Yeah.
Right? They had scriptures. So what they had in their mind, in the way that they were studying, remember I said it's about the method. The way they were studying the scriptures left everything in the past. I'll give you, Deuteronomy says that, hear ye, O Israel, the Lord your God is what? Is one God. So they say, how can this mean that he is God? Do you get that?
Yeah.
But was it the only scripture in the Bible that was identifying God? Right? So which other scriptures identifying Christ as God? Proverbs 8. They mean. Right? I'm saying in the past. Because remember, this is New Testament. I'm saying in the Old Testament scriptures. There are many. Proverbs chapter 8 is a good one. Right? Daniel chapter 9. Right? There are many scriptures that are identifying that. So what was the problem with the guys who were claiming to believe the Pharisees? We're not going to the Pharisees. What was the problem with the Pharisees? In their method of study. Right? Historical distancing. But the problem is that they became rigid. In that they would look at one verse and build their doctrine on one verse. And that's not how you're supposed to study. They're supposed to compare what that means here, O Israel, the Lord your God is one God, and what Proverbs chapter 8 is identifying about Him being brought forth Christ, and then compare with Daniel chapter 9 and Isaiah 53 and many other scriptures. Right? In the story of Emmanuel, all those other things, the desire of nations coming, all those scriptures lining them line upon line. So you see, now the problem has been created. That you now have Paul, the Sadducee and the Pharisee. And the problem is upon the methodology of studying the Bible. That is why, if I talk about the United States as being in the Bible, people get aloof. Brother Tendayi, where are you getting that from? Right? Are we together? But we have a methodology that we are supposed to employ to unlock the Bible. Right? Scriptures, Sister always said that they are mine, right? To the minor. And for you to be mine, you need to dig in. And there are certain things and principles that God has given us that we need to use to employ to understand those things. So I'm just going to go to Isaiah 28 and then we go to the notes there. So everyone understood the basic introduction of what we're just trying to identify. But it helps us pinpoint who the United States in the Bible is. Right? For example, are we children of Abraham? Sorry. Are we straight seed from Abraham? No, right? But how are we children of Abraham?
Faith.
Yeah, but how? By faith in whom?
In Christ.
Right? Then we become heirs. Because if we have the faith that he is, then we become. So we are spiritually, right? We are spiritually Jews. Right? Okay, good. So let's go to, I said Isaiah what? Isaiah 28. Again, there's a lot of material in Isaiah 28 that's out there, that's floating around. For those who are new, we can always get in so that we can get up to speed. Isaiah 28. Isaiah 28, Isaiah 29, and Isaiah 30 are identifying the same story, but it's separated by God to three different localities. Isaiah 28, if you read verse 1, there's a war, and the war is upon the leadership of Israel, right? In Isaiah 29, there's a war upon the kingdom or the city, right? And in Isaiah 30, there's a war against the people. So it's a threefold. The leadership, the people, and the city. And it's identifying the same thing. Right? All together. So in Isaiah 28, we go to verse 9. So just brush through. God is asking a question. Whom is he going to teach knowledge? Right? And whom is he going to make understand doctrine? Right? And what does that word doctrine mean? It means to hear. Right? Whom is he going to make hear? Right? So God is asking the question, who am I going to teach knowledge and whom am I going to make hear this knowledge or to make understand doctrine? Them that are weak in the milk and drawn from the breast. And then it gives you the methodology of teaching this message or this knowledge. Right? It says line upon line, here little and there little. So bringing prophetic line upon prophetic line will help you establish the present truth of the hour. That's what he's saying. Right? If the Jews had managed to bring Daniel chapter 9 and all those other things, Haggai, all those prophecies, line upon line, they should have been unmistakably able to pinpoint Christ. Right? Sister always says that, what were the disciples preaching? The week of Daniel chapter 9. So they were sure. It was sure. And they were bringing things line upon line. And then verse 11 says that, for with stammering lips in another tongue will he speak to his people. Right? What does this mean? Let's go to Acts chapter 4. Acts chapter 4. Acts chapter 4. Verse 13. I like to get to the strong thing. Let me just... Acts 4 verse 13. Can someone read Acts 4 verse 13 for us? Whilst I look for the strongest.
Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled and they took knowledge of them that they had been with Jesus.
Can we I just want to give you something that I saw at one church that I went to. You know, we were learning about Peter. And I didn't know where the lesson was going, but I liked one of the theologians who commented on this one, because it's the one who pointed me to this one. So it says that, and now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John and perceived that they were unlearned. You know what's the word for unlearned there? Grammatos, okay. For the unlearned is grammatos. And that's where you get historical grammatical. Right? Okay. The word for unlearned there is agrammatos, which is opposite of grammatos. Agrammatos is opposite of grammatos. Do you see what's happening there? Okay, for those who understand this, they understand what I'm saying. There is grammatos, and then there is agrammatos, which is an opposite of grammatos. Grammatos is where you get the methodology of the Pharisees, where they use grammar to understand passage, historical grammatical method, right? As you were saying, as they use historical distancing. But what is the other thing that they said about them? Right? They said they are unlearned and what? Ignorant. And the other word is idiotes, that's what they say. So to them, the method that these guys were using is they sound to them as idiots. Right? Because of the method they used. Because they were saying Christ is resurrected, and they had verses that they were using to establish this. And you know the narrative in the book of Acts. Right? So the Bible is saying, with stammering lips in another tongue will he speak to these people. So God is going to speak to his people with an unlearned tongue, with the people who come from a background which understand it not, which are not fluent in the methodology that is being employed by the world of that time, by the people of that generation, in every generation. Who was William Miller? He was a farmer from upstate New York. Just a basic man, right? But who were his opponents? Darling. Who was Darling? Darling was a PhD guy, right? Stewart was a PhD guy. So William Miller was saying, the world is ending in 1844. And what were they doing? They were saying, it's not possible. How can that happen? There's going to be a spiritual reign for 1,000 years. Then everyone's going to be happy and converted, right? But he said, then Miller said, this is not possible. I am convinced from the Bible that Christ is going to appear and the wicked are going to be burned. Right? That's what he's saying. And was it biblical? It was biblical. But to them, he was agrammatos and he was idiotes. Right? Are we together? Okay, good. So, in this generation, as we get to this end of the world, we are going to meet similar things. And this is the aim of what we're going to look at now. So let's go to the notes now. So I'm just going to try and read as fast as possible. So the first statement that I'm going to read is coming from Bible Training School, December 1, 1912. BTS, December 1, 1912. So far is for the new guys. Are you understanding what's happening so far? I don't want to lose anyone. Right together, sister? Good. Nice. So it says this. Bible Training School, December 1, 1912, paragraph 6. The voice of God heard in past ages is sounding down along the line from century to century through generations that have come on the stage of action and passed away. So, the voice of God heard in the past, right? So, where is the voice of God heard? In the past, in the prophetic past, right? Is sounding down along the line. What did Isaiah say? You were supposed to study. Line upon line. And how do we know that this line is the same? This line, this story is talking about in BTS, is the same as the line that is in Isaiah 28. How do we know that? 1 Corinthians 14:32. For the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets, for God cannot be ordered of confusion. Isaiah 7:8-9. It is the voice of Christ which spake through these guys. So can the voice of Christ be in contradiction? It cannot be in contradiction. So this line is the same line. Are we together? Right? From generation that have come on the stage of action and have passed away, shall God speak and his voice not be respected? What power mapped out all this history? That nation, one after another, should fill their predicted time in place. So, God is saying, each nation is just coming upon the world's history. It feels it's what? Predicted time and place. So there is no nation that comes upon the stage of world's history that has not been predicted by the Bible. Argument. Right? So each nation feels its predicted time and place. So what does time mean? Predicted time. That means if the United States arose in 1798, was the Bible clear that the United States was going to arise in 1798?
Yes.
Good. If the United States is going to pass a law at a certain date, let's say this is no time setting. If it is going to be passing a law at some date in the future, is the Bible clear about that thing? It's clear. Right? And that was one of the arguments that the Millerites had. That we can know the day and the hour for the believing student. Why? Because it is clear in the scripture that as you see the day approaching, you would hear the footsteps of the fast approaching Savior. And the footsteps are the waymarks. Right? Okay, good. So predicted time and place. Unconsciously witnessing to the truth of which they themselves know not in the meaning. So, when you're hearing about all those Christian right movements, those guys are fulfilling things that they know not, but they're fulfilling the truth. Right? When General Berthier took the Pope captive, did you know what he was doing? No, but he was fulfilling prophecy. This is why I have. Another thing is with this thing is when you're studying this message, you will find out that we don't use conspiracy theories. Right? Because a conspiracy theory will tell you that they wanted to remove heat from the papacy. That is why Napoleon was a Knights Templar or a Jesuit. Had to have Berthier go and take the Pope off the throne because they wanted to remove him so that they remove heat of the papacy. Right? Whatever the conspiracy theories teach, we cannot prove it. Why? Why can we not prove it? Because it's not noted in the Word of Scripture. So what we do is what is noted in the Word of Scripture. Right? So we're going to identify waymarks along the way about the United States and all the presidents that came from the time that we're going to be dating. And we are going to be going away from conspiracy theories and identifying that when these men are doing these things, they are fulfilling what the Word of God is teaching. Is that a hand?
Yeah. Question.
Yes.
Does papacy know what it's doing and then it's fulfilling Bible prophecy?
Does the papacy know what it's doing and does it that it's fulfilling Bible prophecy?
It knows its actions will fulfill Bible prophecy.
Yeah, but it's always a convoluted view. Right? It's always a convoluted view. Because the Bible alone gives a correct view of these things. So when Malachi Martin is writing Keys of this Blood, yes, he has a view of these things, but it's not the correct view of the things. Right? The heathen world, in the time of Noah, right? People could feel there is a sense that something great is about to happen, but they could not know what that thing was. Why? No, because they did not have the word of truth. No one knew because he had the word of truth. Sister White says that when she's talking about Daniel, she said Daniel had the sure word of prophecy. That's how he knew that this was true. Right? Are you together? Okay, good. History and prophecy testify that the God of the whole earth revealed secrets through his chosen light bearers to the world. This is another thing that we're going to be looking at, especially as this is going to be covering reform lights. That in each generation there is a chosen light bearer. Not because we like people so much. you know with these things. Chosen light bearers. In 1798, who was the chosen light bearer? William Mill. Right? Good. In 3 BC was the chosen light bearer. Okay, so he was being born. But it was John the Baptist. Right? Good. A skeptical world, talking and writing of higher education. Okay, I'm just going to jump that. So Revelation 1:10. Revelation 1 verse 10. Right? So in the beginning of this quotation we read that the voice of God heard in the past. Listen to this, to Revelation 1:10. I was in the Spirit on the Lord's day and heard behind me a great voice as of a trumpet. So, where did he hear the voice coming from? Behind me. But what was the response of John the Baptist? So John the Revelator. Verse 12. And I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks. So question, when you hear the voice, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to turn. So if you don't turn, what are you? Disobedient. Right? If you don't turn, you are disobedient. The obedient, they turn. And what is the turning? Is starting prophetic line upon prophetic line. That is how Peter was able to prove that Christ was Christ in the book of Acts. He turned. And whilst Peter was turning, he was starting the prophetic history. So that's the response that each and every individual amongst us has to have. When you hear the voice, and how do you hear the voice of God? Do you hear the voice of God, all the boys, men of past ages? No. But what the sister always says that? Through the teachings of His Word and the events of His Word. But what are the teachings of this Word? It's the Bible. That means when you're perusing the Bible now, when you're going to be looking at the story of Isaac and Rebekah, right? And them having, they inquiring that they have a child, right? Because there's a battle that is happening. Then we saw that these are 2 nations in one womb. Then you need to, as a student of prophet, you need to understand who are these 2 nations in one. These are the Medes and Persians. So the Medes and Persians are already established in the story of Isaac. And how do we know that? How do we know that? Okay, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. Are we together? Right? I don't want to lose anyone. Yes, my brother.
Just repeat what you just said.
Okay, I'm going to get there. Right? I'll move. It's in the notes that are preceding. Right? So that was the response. Revelation 1 verse 11. Revelation 1:11 says this, saying, I am the Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. And what thou see, write in a book, and send it unto the 7 churches which are in Asia. And then I wanted to dissect this one. But you see, in this one it says that, saying, I am the Alpha and Omega. And what is the Alpha and Omega? No. In this verse, the Alpha and Omega is the first and the last. Right? That's what it's explaining itself, right? The Alpha is the first, right? The Omega is the last in the verse. Right? Good. Right? And what thou seest, write in the book. Right? So what he's going to see, given by the Alpha and Omega, is going to write in a book. Right? And he's going to write them unto what? The 7 churches in Asia Minor. Right? But if you go to verse 19, what does it say? It says that, write the things which thou hast seen, the things which are, the things, and the things which shall be hereafter. So he's going to write 3 things. The past, the present, and the future. And what does Christ's signature say in the preceding verse that we first read? Is the Alpha and Omega. So he's showing you that he's writing the beginning, or the first and the last. Okay, good. Let's go to the next verse. The beginning and the ending. Revelation 22:13. Revelation 22:13. So we're going to get additional light on what it means. That is the Alpha and Omega. Can someone read Revelation 22:13?
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning
and the beginning and the ending. So the first is what? Is the beginning. And the last is what? The ending.
The first and last. Blessed are they that do His commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city. Should I continue?
That's fine. It's okay. Good. Acts of the Apostles 595, 585, 595, all the books of the Bible, 585. Acts of the Apostles 585 says that all the books of the Bible meet and end in the Revelation. So whenever you see a concept in the book of Revelation, it's already there in the past. Right? Right? Because why? Because we're told to write the things which are in the past, the present, the future. So you have to see them there. Why? Because God is written out of confusion. So if you're going to go to Isaiah 40, right, to around Isaiah 49 or 50, right, you're going to see what it means that Christ is the beginning and the end. So you're going to just get a few verses so that we establish what we want to establish concerning the United States. Is the last king, is the sixth kingdom of Bible prophecy, which is identifying the kingdom that takes us to the Son and Lord. Are we together? So we are going to read Isaiah 41, 21 to 28. I got one of these actually, but we're just going to read a few so that we can make the point that I want to make. Isaiah 41. Are we still together? Isaiah 41, 21 to 28. I like this one. I like this 21 to 28 thing. Verse 21. So God is having a contention with the children of Israel. There's a contention. Because the children of Israel are having other gods which are not the true God. So God says, produce your cause, saith the Lord. Bring forth your strong reason, saith the King of Jacob. Let them bring forth your gods, right? Let them bring forth and show us what shall happen. Let them show the former things that they be, and that they may consider them, and know the latter end of them, or declare things to come for us. So God is saying, if your gods are true gods, let them show the former things, and in these former things, let them show us what is coming. Right? Right? So it is through these former things that God shows us what is coming. Right? So the United States is something that is present truth. It's something that is come. So there has to be former things that point at the United States. The papacy is something that was present truth from 530 to 1798. There had to be former things that pointed to the papacy. It's always been like that. Right? The threefold union, the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet has to have had former things that were pointing to the dragon, the beast, and the false prophet. That's how you know that this is God. Are you together?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Verse 3. Show the things that are to come hereafter, that we may know that they are gods. Yea, do good or do evil, that ye may be dismayed, and behold it together. Behold, ye are of nothing, and your work of naught. An abomination is he that chooseth you. I have raised up one from the north. Who's this one from the north? Huh? I have raised up one from the north, and he shall come from the rising of the sun, and shall call upon my name, and he shall come upon the princes as upon mortar, and as upon a potter that treadeth. Who have declared from the beginning that we may know, and before time that we may say he is righteous. Yea, there is none that sheweth, yea, there is none that declareth, and there is none that heareth your words. Right. So this is the divine signature of who God is. Right? Let's go to the next verse. We're going to come back to the prince from the north. Right? Let's go to Isaiah 42 verse 9. It says that, behold, the former things that come to pass, and the new things do I declare before they spring forth, I tell you of them. So the new things before they spring forth, God tells us of them. Isaiah 44, 6 to 7, this will be the last from Isaiah. Right? It says that, thus says the Lord, the King of Israel, and his Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, I am the first and I am the last, and beside me there is no God. And who as I shall call, and shall declare it and set it order. Since I appointed who? The ancient people. And the things that are coming shall come, let them show them unto you. So God has, through the ancient people, what happened to the bigger board that we have it inside? So, if these ancient people are an example, right, or a type, it means that They are shadows that are pointing to that which is coming at the end of the world. Right? These ancient people are a shadow, and whenever you see these ancient people, they are declaring the things that are coming at the end of the world. Right? For example, Cyrus. Right? 10 minutes left. Yeah. Okay. For example, let me just go to the. What am I going to do? 10 minutes. After this, where are we going? Huh? We have lunch. Another step. We have another step. Okay. It's okay. 10 minutes is good. I'll just deal with what I have. So these ancient people, they are declaring what is coming at the end, and they shall show us what is going to come at the end. Right? Okay, good. Let me just change. So I'm going to change gears a little bit. Right. So let's go to Revelation chapter 13. In Greek controversy, 8:439, paragraph 2. So I'm going to Revelation 13 in Greek controversy, 439, paragraph 2. In Revelation 13. The reason why I'm going to these two passages of scripture is because this is where we are going to get an exact description of the United States, and we're going to pick characteristics of the United States that are there. And then I want you to work in the reverse engineering. Right? You know that you get your final product, but you can get how you get to the final product by looking back. Right? Because you know that this product is this, and this, and this. So you go back in the past and look at the product that something that sorry, not a product, a starting ingredient that had the things that you are seeing in the end. And you know, like how you do it in chemistry. Like if you have the product, you know that this product, if it's like this, it had to come from these things. Right? Okay, good. So Revelation 13. So I'll start with GC 8:439, paragraph 2. It says this. The line of prophecy in which these symbols are found begins in Revelation 12. Right? With the dragon that sought to destroy Christ at his birth. Right? The dragon is said to be Satan. He it was that moved upon Herod to put the Savior to death, but the chief agents of Satan in making war upon Christ and his people during the first century of the Christian era was the Roman Empire, in which paganism was the prevailing religion. Thus, while the dragon primarily represents Satan, in a secondary sense represents a symbol of pagan Rome. In chapter 13, verse 1 to 10, describes another beast, like unto a leopard, to which the dragon gave his power, his seat, and great authority. This symbol, as most Protestants have believed, represents the papacy, which succeeded to the power and seat and authority once possessed by the ancient Roman Empire. This phone is too small. Of the leopard-like beasts, it is declared, there was given unto him a mouth to blaspheme his name. In this stupid, I'm just gonna jump. The power was as it were wounded to death, and again. That's fine. Let me just. The power was given to him to continue for 42 months. This period, as stated in preceding chapters, began with the establishment of the papacy in AD 538 and terminated in 1798. At that time, when the papacy was abolished and the Pope made captive by the French army, the papal power received its deadly wound, and the prediction was fulfilled, that he that liveth in captivity shall go into captivity. At this point, another symbol is introduced, says the prophet. I behold another beast coming up out of the earth, and it had two horns like a lamb. This is Revelation 18, right? 11. Both the appearance of the beast and the manner of its rise indicate the nation which it represents is unlike those represented under the preceding symbol. The great kingdom that have ruled the world were upon the great sea. In Revelation 17, another angel explained the waters represent the peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Winds are a symbol of strife. The four winds of heaven striving upon the great sea represent the terrible scenes of conquest and revolution by which the kingdom have attained to power. So what this means is this: all the first kingdoms that came up in history, they always came up through revolution or conquest. If you go to Daniel chapter 8, it says that, and it pushed westward, northward, and eastward, and it waxed strong. You first get a warring, then the kingdom waxes strong. You first get a warring, then the kingdom is established. But when the United States is rising into power, it does not do that. So it shows you a different phase in the work of the United States. You know, you get people who don't believe this spiritual prophet statement, who say that if the United States was ruling the kingdom that's ruling the world, it has to be all other nations, the earth should be in subjugation. Question for you: when the Medes and Persians were ruling the world, were all the nations in subjugation and the Medes and the Persians? What is the answer? No. That's the story of Greece. They tried to annex Greece, but what happened? There was a rebellion, which happened with the Battle of Marathon, Thermopylae, and Sardis. Right? What? Salamis. Not Sardis. Salamis. So these battles gave Greek independence. But the point is, it was yes ruling supremely as the kingdom of prophets, as noted in God's words of scripture. But not all the nations of the earth were exactly under its palms. But they were fulfilling what was noted in Daniel chapter 8, what is noted in Daniel chapter 9, what is noted in Daniel chapter 2, what is noted in Daniel chapter 11. That's how we study the word of God. We don't study the word of God according to our own myopic views of things, of China, how China is growing as a superpower. China is what we learn in school. The United States is what we learn in the Bible. You see the difference? Right? Okay, good. But the beast which had them like horns was seen coming up out of the earth. Instead of overthrowing other powers to establish itself, the nation thus represented must arise in a territory previously unoccupied and grow up gradually and peacefully. It could not then arise among the crowded and struggling nationalities of the old world, the turbulent sea of people and multitudes. It must be sought in the western continent. What nation of the New World was in 1700 rising into power, giving promise to strength and greatness, and attracting attention to the world? The application of the symbol admits of no question. One nation, only one, meets the specification of prophecy. It points unmistakably to the United States of America. Right? So when you see in Revelation 13, I'm not going to read the whole statement, right? When you see in Revelation 13, you're going to see a beast with two horns. So you're already seeing the characteristic of this beast. It's a lamb. It has two horns. It speaks. Right? Instead of the speaking of a nation is the action of its judicial and legislation arms. Right? So you're now seeing that it's a nation that passes laws. Right? When it's speaking. Right? It's a nation that is represented by a lamb that has two horns. So what nation in the old world was a lamb that had two horns, which spake before the United States? Remember, we said we're not going to do reverse engineering. We have our product, so we're not to go back. So what nation in the old world? As an example, the Medes and the Persians, Mama. It's correct, right? Daniel chapter 8, verse 3. And I saw a ram, right, which had two horns. And the one horn came up higher than the last. And when he's explained that, he's told that these are the Medes and the Persians, which is two principles in one nation. Right? Are we together? So one characteristic of the United States is that it is two principles in one nation. In one nation. So remember when I talked about Isaac and his wife, Rebecca, did they have two principles in one nation? There are two principles in Isaac, right? Are we together? And remember, God said, I have given the ancient people to show you things that are coming. Let them declare them unto you. So Isaac is an ancient person. Right? Right? And there's two nations. And we'll get to this. And we are going to read the story of Isaac. In context to this, it's a reference to the United States. Because it's two nations in one nation. And there are principles that you need to get there, that you need to understand at the end of the world. How to get there? And the other thing is, when you're reading this passage, 5 minutes, okay. When we're reading this passage, we learn that the papacy precedes these two on power. Did you see that? Right? Did you see that? You get the papacy, then the two on power. So you get the papacy, and then you get the two on power. If you go to Prophets and Kings 7:14, it's another common passage in this message. It talks about the children of Israel were verily in captivity during the days of religious persecution under the papacy, as they were during the 70-year captivity. Right? So the 70-year captivity, who take them into 70 years of captivity? It's Babylon. But who delivers them? It's a two on power. The Medes and the Persians. Right? How together? But who's the actual two on power of Bible prophecy? The actual two on power. No, it's Christ. Isaiah 14, yes. Cyrus is typifying Christ. Right? So, as a Sunday law, we are going to have another Babylon. Right? And we are going to be in captivity. We are going to, the seven devils is going to go into captivity at the Sunday law. Right? But who's going to deliver them?
Christ.
And at that time, which will stand up? Michael, your prince. But remember, Cyrus was a type of who? Of Christ. But I don't want to go there. But I want to see, what I want you to show you is this. The ancients, the beginning, typified what was coming in the future. Did you see that? God gave characteristics that, and He gives you a pattern. And it first has to have captivity, then deliverance. Captivity, then deliverance. That's why you have the story of Egypt and deliverance. You have captivity and then deliverance. And this deliverance is achieved by the two on power. During this, let me just close this. During the 70th year of papal supremacy, 70 years of Babylonian supremacy, what did Cyrus do? He passed decrees. So he financed the work. Right? And the work was completed in 3 messages. The first angel, the first decree, the second decree, and the third decree. Right? How does Sister White identify the United States of America? As what? The land of what? Opportunity. The land of the glorious land. The land flowing with milk and honey. God had to raise the glorious land so that the Seventh-day Adventists may be financed. If you read the story, you know, we're talking to a friend of ours who's in the Netherlands at the moment. He was saying that he was told the church that, well, the church is poor, but the guy doesn't know. Right? This church is a wealthy church. Seventh-day Adventist church is a wealthy church. Yeah. They've made enormous money. You know, the hospitals alone, they bring in a revenue of over 13 billion. I was reading this from, what's his name? George Knight, where he's identifying the work of Ellen White in the church. That by 1950, we're generating billions through our hospitals alone. Are we together? Right? So, it is God established us in a nation where there was prosperity for financing of the gospel. And that is what happened in the history of religions. And when the nation, when it was being financed, it was how many messages were given to start this movement? 3 messages, right? The first, second, and third, right? When Cyrus, right? When Cyrus came into history, when he gave the sign of deliverance, right? He gave decrees, right? Are we together? He gave decrees. And what does Daniel chapter 6 say about those decrees of the Medes and Persians? It is laws that cannot be what? Changed or repealed. Is the same law that is going to be passed by the Congress of the United States going to be changed or repealed? No. That's the end of the road for 700 years. Do you see that? Right? So you see that these ancient nations are typifying what is coming at the end of the world. Right? So I just with this, I have many thoughts there in the notes. I'll explain them further. I just have to end here. So what am I saying? I'm saying this. In terms of the United States, whenever you're going to see a 2-1 power, right? It's pointing to the United States.